Hey everyone, David here. So besides The Walking Dead premiering on AMC, we had another very special premiere which apparently broke records. It's like the most viewed premiere on cable in history, and it had to be none other than the prequel series to Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. And I'm here to review the pilot. Now, because it's the pilot, much like I did with Agent Carter, I'm actually not going to go into any spoilers. I'm just going to give you guys my overall opinion of what I thought about that pilot, without giving anything away, because I feel that because it's a pilot for a brand new show, despite it being a prequel to an already very well-renowned show, I feel like people are mainly checking out these reviews so that they know, okay, should I watch the show, should I not, and they don't want it to get ruined for them, especially if they were considering watching it. So for that, I'm not going to give anything away, and I'm going to be as vague as I possibly can, while at the same time interpreting my thoughts on this show, which are that I'm loving it. I love it, and I'm trying my best not to be biased, considering that it is from the creators of Breaking Bad, both Vince Gilligan and the creator of the Saul Goodman character, Peter Gould. And they just hit it out of the park with the pilot, similar to how they did with Breaking Bad. I mean, sure, it's not as crazy as those last few seasons of Breaking Bad were, but neither was the pilot for Breaking Bad itself. You know, it was kind of smaller, it was tighter, it had a way lower budget, but it was written, directed, and acted so well that it felt like a little mini movie. And the same thing goes for Better Call Saul. What I think is the most fascinating part about the pilot was that it really cemented Saul, or I should say Jimmy McGill, because if you guys don't remember, Saul Goodman is actually not his real name. And it's very easy for people to forget that. I forgot that myself, but I do, when I get reminded, I do recall there being a scene where he first got introduced, so probably in either season 2 or maybe even season 3, one of those two, where Saul told Walt that, yeah, Saul Goodman is just an alias, my real name is Jimmy McGill. It is the pilot for this show that really showcases Jimmy McGill before he was the facade that was Saul Goodman. And sure, we do see some shades of that character here, where he's very wisecracking, but at the same time he has that persuasive tone that manages to hook you, but he just hasn't perfected it yet to where he can't get people to sign over their case to him so that he can be his lawyer, and therefore he loses gigs, and also because of that we see him living this really miserable life that really makes the character a whole lot more sympathetic, because we already liked him in Breaking Bad. Here, not only does he bring the tone of that character from Breaking Bad that was likable already, but now he brings this dimension of sympathy, because he's living in this house that is actually not even his, and he has this little corner within that house that you can tell is the only thing that he can really pay for with his money. And he also has this rundown office that is part of this nail salon, and he puts up this front of being this big time lawyer even though he really isn't. And that in and of itself makes the material in the show of Breaking Bad a whole lot more justified, because you can clearly see that he wants to get out of that. He wants to find his own identity, and he starts to take those baby steps in this pilot to do so. He doesn't complete the transformation in overnight, thank God, because if we know anything, Vince Gilligan and his team of directors and writers don't like to switch things overnight. All right, their transformation for their characters that they develop is glacial, but to an appreciative point, to where you're like, I can buy this. And so far, I'm buying the little steps that Jimmy is taking into becoming Saul Goodman. And we see a little bit of that here at the end of this episode, where he manages to find a way to start the scheming techniques that he uses later on as the scheming Saul Goodman. Of course, it kind of lands him in trouble with that cliffhanger at the end of this episode that, oh my god, I was out loud. I was like, whoa! I was surprised my parents didn't hear me, but it was an ending for the ages, or at least for the ages of TV this year so far. But of course, achieving such likability and sympathy is all due to Bob Odenkirk, who I think gives a stellar performance here, because he is the main character now. He's not just some actor in the background that would steal every scene that he was in when he was on Breaking Bad. But now he has to carry the show. It's one thing to seal a particular scene that he's in and then walk out of frame. It is another to really carry the show, considering that you're the main character. And so far, Bob Odenkirk is doing a stellar job. I know it's only one episode, but I have confidence in not just him, but also Vince Gilligan, who directed the pilot, and the direction it clearly has inspiration for Breaking Bad, especially with certain angles where the camera's put like in the corner of a room, where you see the entire room using a wide angle lens. But they also realize that this is not Breaking Bad, at least not yet. So the tone is going to be different, and that is reflected not only on the style of direction, but also the setting. It's a lot more suburban-like, not so much desert-like in Breaking Bad, and also the music. The music fits Saul Goodman or Jimmy McGill's character much more than like the bongos and the guitars that were often used in Breaking Bad to kind of mirror that Mexican feel. My only little nitpick, and it's one that could easily be fixed considering that it's the medium of a TV show, is that there are a couple of cameos in this episode. One at the end, which was the whole reason why it became a cliffhanger, that ending, that I honestly cannot even comment on, because I feel we're going to see that progress in episode 2, which I know premiered the night after, on Monday night. It was like a 2-night event type of thing, and I have not watched it. I have it saved up, but I have not watched it, and I will, but I kind of have a feeling where that thing's going to go. But I can't comment on it. What I can't comment on is the first cameo, that being that it's a show, and being that I'm very confident in Vince Gilligan and the showrunners of the show, I feel they'll explore that and flesh that out a little bit more. But I'm a little scared, I'm a little skeptical, just a tiny bit, that particular cameo is just going to stay a cameo for some time, and I'm hoping they don't just find ways to be like, hey, look who it is, and I'm a little nervous of that, but I still have faith in these guys to flesh that out and not make it like a gimmick for every episode. But besides that, Better Call Saul was nearly perfect, and I know I might just be a tad bit biased because of how much I love Breaking Bad, but what strikes to me as very important is the fact that the creators know that this is not Breaking Bad, at least not yet, so they're not going to try to shoehorn as many Breaking Bad Easter eggs into it as much as possible, like Gotham is with the Batman mythology, and knows that this is a separate character. This is its own beast, and it's going to have its own tone. But even so, they have this thing at the beginning that I thought wrapped it up in a nice little bow. There's the opening for this episode was just perfectly directed, perfectly acted by Bob Odenkirk through subtle nuances in his face, and it also brought me back to watching those final episodes of Breaking Bad in 2013, and man, it's just something that can't be replicated. But for some reason, the first 5 minutes of the show capture that very well. So just like Agent Carter, as much as I want to rate it, because I have a rating in mind, I can't do that because I'm simply just reviewing the pilot. I'm not going to be reviewing every single episode as it comes out, because I already have way too many videos to take care of, not only in the month of February, but coming up in the month of March. So I'm just going to review the pilot for now, and I'm not going to give it an official rating, but I will be reviewing the entire season when it ends, because not only are we getting a full season, but we're getting season 2 as well. The thing's not even into its 3rd episode, and they already greenlit season 2. So let's hope for big things for Better Call Saul, and so far I'm loving what I'm seeing, so I'm definitely going to be checking it out every Sunday right after Walking Dead. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys thought of the episode if you have seen it, and I'll catch you guys later.